Hello, my name is Jessica and I work for the Brantford Public Library, and today I'm going to be showing you step by step our February adult craft, You Are My Sunshine. But first, let's go over the materials that we will need. So all of the materials that we are going to need for our February adult craft, You Are My Sunshine painting, you're going to need pink paint, yellow, green, brown, black, and white paint. You will need a blow dryer and 2 heart stencils, one 3 by 4 inch and 1 by 1.5 by 1.5 inches big. You will also need a water cup, a paper plate, and a napkin with a piece of chalk, a Q-tip, and 3 paint brushes, a small, medium, and large paintbrush. And of course, you will need an 11 by 14 canvas. So first, we're going to be using our largest brush and our pink and our whites. We're going to fill in our whole background. So I like to scoop up a lot of paints when I'm doing the background. I'm going to scoop up some white, scoop up some pink. And I like to do long brush strokes up and down. And if you want a lighter background, you can pick up more white and it'll make a very light pink. Or if you want it darker, you can pick up some more pink and make that background darker. So once you figure out how light or how dark you want your background, you're going to fill in the whole thing. And if you're using a gallery style canvas, you want to make sure you paint all 4 edges because you will see those once you hang it up on the wall. So once you get towards the edge, make sure you continue it on. And after you have filled it all in, including the sides, we need to make sure that it's completely dry because the next step we will be using one of our stencils. Okay, so we should have our background all painted in and dried because the next step we are going to be tracing. But make sure that you put your large brush in some water, make that strawberry milk looking water. It's important that you keep your paint brushes rinsed off after each time you use them. So next we're going to be picking up our chalk and our stencil. We're using the bigger heart stencil. Right about the center where you want the middle of your flower to be, we're going to place our heart. And go around the outside. Now if you don't want to use the stencil and you just want to freehand a heart, you're welcome to do that. But I like to go ahead and give a chalk outline of where the center is going to be at because the next step we're going to do is fill in these petals. So I'm going to be using my medium brush and picking up just yellow. And we're going to be making a teardrop shape. Like that, and then we're going to fill it in. And I'm going to do this the whole way around. Making sure you have nice thick layers. Now we want to make sure that we make these petals nice and long because we're going to be filling in these lighter petals in between each section. And now they don't all have to be the same shape because it's nature. all the way around our heart. Our first layer of our petals. I think I want to make this one just a little bit longer towards the top. So now that we've gone around and we've done just the yellow petals, even though we're going to be picking up yellow again, I'm going to rinse off my brush and pat it dry. Now we're going to go back around and fill in between each petal, picking up white and yellow this time. Using the same medium brush. And if you feel like you're picking up too much yellow from your previous flower, you can pick up just white on your brush. You don't have to keep picking up more yellow on your brush. Now we are going to be going back over these petals with a little bit of just yellow towards the very tips of, towards the very ends of them. So if it doesn't look quite like this yet, that's okay. We're just giving our first coat. You see, I'm picking up paint after each petal I do. I'm picking up more paint each time. Seems like you'll need to go a little bit more. So, and if you want, you can go back around and do a second coat if you like. I'm going to go ahead and show you that we're going to add a little bit of just yellow. So I'm going to rinse my brush off again. And pat it dry. I'm going to pick up just yellow, not any white. And up towards the very bottom of each petal, I'm just going to darken it up. If you pick up a lot of white on your brush, you can always wipe it off on your plate. So now that we've gone around and we've added some of that just yellow, we darkened up the end of those petals, we're gonna add some highlights to our petals in the background. So we're done using the medium-sized brush. We can put that one into the water, and we're gonna pick up our smaller detail brush. And if you got a little bit of white in your yellow, you can go ahead and kind of mix that together, because we want to use that lighter yellow color. I'm gonna pick some of that up, and just along the very edge, we're gonna add a line. So the way I like to do this is I add a line to the left side. I'm gonna add a little bit more white to that. It's not wide enough for me. And if you mix your paint and you got a glob of paint on your brush, the way I like to get rid of that is you can lay your paintbrush on the edge of your plate and just roll it. And get that glob off. I'm going to paint the left side of the petal. And then on the next one, I'm going to paint the right side. And then the next one, I'm going to do a whole V along the edge, and then I'm going to do that the whole way around. Left side, right side, V. Left side, right side, V. The whole way around. Okay, so then I'm going to rinse my brush off, dry it off, and along the inside of our petals on the front, we're going to do the same technique with the left side, right side V. Using the small brush, I'm going to pick up some brown. Okay, so those are our petals for our flowers, and next we'll be coming back to do our stem. So now that we've finished our petals, we're going to come back using our medium-sized brush, and we're going to paint our stem and our leaf. So I'm going to be using that yellow and white mixture that we had already mixed together. If you don't have any more of that, you can go ahead and mix a little bit of your white and yellow together. But I'm going to be picking up green. Now I don't want to glob this on my paintbrush. This time I'm going to just pick up a little bit of green and a little bit pulling just from the edge of that yellow. And to the left of our bottom petal, now, if you feel more comfortable using your chalk and tracing this out first, you can. I'm going to go slowly around our flower, and then we're going to paint the second line coming down. Now I'm going to fill it in, picking up some more yellow and green. And then for the leaf, it's a heart-shaped leaf. So I want the heart to be laying right on the edge of the stem. So I'm going to first paint my outline and then go back and fill it in. If you feel like your green is too dark, just pick up some more of that yellow and white mix, or if it's just too light, you can pick up some more green. Yeah. So now that we got our stem and our leaf, we can set our medium brush in the water. And now I'm going to pick up our chalk and our smaller heart stencil for our bees. So I didn't stencil this out earlier because I wanted to be able to see how far my petals went out to where I wanted to place my bees. So I'm going to place one right towards the top. And I'm going to have one facing down towards my petals. I'm going to have one coming up from the side. Okay, we got those outlines. And now while I still have the chalk in my hands, I'm going to write out my saying. So on the pre-paint, I had done it almost in like stairways. I did you, and then I moved R over just a little bit, and then mine just a tiny bit further over. But then at the very bottom, I just did sunshine real big. I did a big S and then smaller letters for the rest of the word. And for my eye, I dotted it with a heart. And then I also had placed a few little hearts around my saying. And now we are done with our chalk. And when we come back, we are going to be filling in our bees. So now that we have our stem and our leaf painted, and we have our stencils drawn out, it is time for us to work on our little bees. So I'm going to be using my medium brush, and I'm going to pick up just white. And we're going to start with painting these bigger wings coming off, and then like in an oval shape, just like that. And then we're going to repeat that underneath into just a little bit smaller wings. We're going to do that for all three. My little guy down here is a little close to the edge, so you may have one of your wings hanging off the edge of your painting, but that's okay. And you can go back over and do a second coat. we have filled out our wings and gone over it a second time. We're going to fill in the center of our hearts with our whites, which I'm going to rinse my brush off again. Pat it dry. And I'm going to be picking up white and yellow. Be careful if you do have some of that green towards your yellow, not to pick up any of that green. But we're picking up whites and yellow, and we're filling in the center of our peas. Now I feel like my beads are a little too light yellow for me, so I am going to go over my beads the second time, just picking up the yellow. I'm going to darken up that yellow. Now we do need to keep in mind it is going to be covered up again with some black lines towards the very top and the very bottom of these hearts. But now that we filled in our wings and we filled in the body, our beads are ready for our black paint. But before we go around and we do the black paint, we're going to fill in this middle section. We're going to be using yellow again, but I'm going to rinse my brush. Pat it dry. Still using that medium brush, I'm going to pick up some yellow and some brown. I'm going to start towards the center. And I'm going to outline the center that we're going to be filling in. Now when I'm doing this, I want to make sure none of this pink background is still showing. We want to make sure that outline is going far enough up over our petals. Now we can fill it in. Now, if you feel like this is still too light, like you see that pink background shining through still, you can go back and do a second coat over it. Remembering to pick up a little bit of yellow with that brown. Here we go. And once we are done with our second coat of brown, we are going to dry our painting before we come back and we do all of our black outlines and details. Okay, so now we're ready to do some black detail. I'm using the smallest detail brush. I'm going to scoop up some black paint. And along the top part of our heart, I'm going to paint a line. Now this line is a little bit further down than the very center of the heart. That part that comes down, and then I'm going to outline the top. And we're going to fill it in. And then we're gonna give a line in towards the center. And then fill it in. And then towards the very bottom V, I'm gonna go over the outline and then fill it in. Okay, and at the very top of our V, add some antennas with little dots. And we're gonna add a little stinger at the end of our V. And then from there, I'm going to add some dots to show where this bee has been buzzing around. I like to add a loop. Going off the canvas. And then I'm going to repeat that step with the second and then the third bee. Okay, so now that we have finished our second and our third bee, and we have all 3 bees done, we're going to work on our dots in the center of our flower using a Q-tip. So, picking up some black paint, so dip it. That side's a little. So if one side of your Q-tip is too loose, when you pick up your paint, you'll see it'll have like a long string coming from it. I'm going to use the other side. There you go, it's more put together. And we're just going to place a dot all the way around our sunflower. And you're going to repeat that and do the same line the whole way around. They don't all have to be the same size dot. And towards the center, you'll add just a dot. Okay, and then after we will have finished with our Q-tip, I'm going to take our small detail brush and we're going to pick up some more black paint and we're going to go over our words. Now when I'm painting the words, I like to go back and pick up paint frequently. Once I can start to see those little dots in my lines, I know that's time for me to pick up some more paint. And so you're going to work and fill out your whole words, and don't forget your little hearts. But go ahead and fill out all of your letters. Okay, so now that we have did the black on our bees, we did the black on our sunflower, and then we went over and did all the black outline on our words, the very last and most important step of our painting is your signature, your autograph. I like to add mine towards the bottom right corner. That is, You Are My Sunshine painting. Join us next month for another adult craft video.